Hello and welcome to lesson 12 of the MASUDA ASI introductory course. In this lesson and the next lesson we'll be discussing the predictor line group, and as the name implies, these are a group of lines that are designed to help us predict the future from a MASUDA ASI chart context. Now, this does not mean that we are saying that we can predict what the share price will be tomorrow. Nobody can do that. Nobody can predict the absolute future. What we are talking about is trying to come to some prediction about what the next period's MASUDA ASI real body color will be. For example, will it be pink or will it be blue? And even just knowing this, or what the trend is going to be doing, is a significant point when dealing with trading. Just knowing, or just having an idea with a high probability of where the trend is likely to go should help you trade more profitably and avoid making losses. So we're now looking at the chart for Daihatsu 7262, and you can see here we have the 3-day MASUDA ASI real body line. This is the short-term MASUDA ASI line. The medium-term, the 25-day real body MASUDA ASI line, and the slower long-term 75-day MASUDA ASI line. And as we've discussed several times before, the color pink signifies an uptrend, whereas the color blue signifies a downtrend. So these are the basics that you should probably have remembered by now. And we've also looked at the MASUDA ASI shadows. Down here on the bottom right we have the 3P MAS, 3-period MASUDA ASI shadow, 25 and 75. So let's click all of those. As we've already mentioned, the MASUDA ASI shadows help you to identify trends at a glance, and also to identify near-term tops and bottoms, which should help you in determining good entry points to make a trade as well as good exit points. This applies to both going long or holding a stock, buying and holding a stock, and then selling it at some point in the future, hopefully for a price that is higher than when you bought it. And it also applies to short selling the stock when you sell at a high price and hope to buy it at a low price and make the difference. And as we've discussed, the pink zone here is a buy zone. This is indicative of an uptrend. The pink equals uptrend. However, even in an uptrend with the short-term MASUDA ASI real body line, there are characteristically short-term pullbacks or dips in the case of an uptrend. So the share price will move up for some time and then pull back. This can be seen in the Japanese candlestick chart here as well. And so ideally, rather than buying here at the top and then seeing the price go back down again and then up, we would prefer to buy on a dip when the share price is a little bit lower, so that we can capture that incremental gain when the share price does pick up again. Let's turn off the shadows for now. Okay, we've removed the shadow lines, so we're now back to just the real body lines. And we can see here that the short-term MASUDA ASI real body line is above the medium-term line, which is also above the long-term line. So this is a strong uptrending pattern. However, over the last few days we've seen the short-term line turn blue, and the question is, what will happen from now on? If we look down here at the predictor box, it's showing pink. Now the background color of this predictor box is based on the MASUDA ASI rules, and the system is expecting that tomorrow's MASUDA ASI 3-day real body will be pink. This is what it's predicting. It's not predicting a share price, it's just predicting the color of tomorrow's Masuda Ashi real body. And based on empirical testing, this has a probability of about 80% for being accurate for the next day's Masuda Ashi color, the real body color. Well, it's blue here, but the predictor box is showing pink. So how could this be? I mean, wouldn't we expect this to continue going down, blue, and then even perhaps crossing the medium-term line very soon in what might be a dead cross, for example? If the medium-term line kept going this way, we might have a dead cross situation. Why is it then telling us that tomorrow's Masuda Ashi real body is expected to be pink? Okay, this is where the predictor line group comes into play. Now, first of all, let's have a look at what the predictor line group is. You can see here vertically we have 4 different lines. We have the white line, which is called the basis line, and this is effectively the current day in question. You can also go back in time and analyze the chart position at different points in the past, and your reference line will be this white basis line. The red line here is the line for the 3 days prior to the white basis line. So we have the red line being 3 days ago, this green line is 25 days ago, and the yellow line here is 75 days ago. So the numbers up here are the same colors as each of these lines that we just looked at. Red, green and yellow going from right to left. And you can see here it says minus 3D. This is symbolic of 3 days ago. So minus 3D, D for days, 3 days ago. This is the date of 3 days ago from the reference point, which is the basis line, the white line, and this is the closing price of that point in time 3 days ago. The green line here says minus 25D. This is from 25 days ago. You can see the date here as well, and this is the closing price of that date 25 days ago. And finally we have minus 75D. This is from 75 days ago, the date back in May, and the closing prices of 75 days ago. This is significant. So as you'll also notice, if we move the basis line, the white line, back in time, so we'll use this to go back, the red, green and yellow lines will each maintain their relative position against the basis line. So this gap never changes. Let's have a look. You can see that every time I move the white line back 1 day in time, the 3 day prior red line, the green line from 25 days prior, and the yellow line from 75 days prior all move. The dates change automatically, as do the relevant closing prices for each of those days. Now I'll hit reset to bring it back to today. We can also notice, if you use the time slip feature here, when you go back in time, this is where we leave the white basis line as the very right hand point in the chart, and we move everything in the same interval of time forward, as if this was today. Otherwise we can use this to go left, keeping this point the same, but going through time this way. To get us back to where we wanted to be as of today, is you hit the reset button down here. Okay, back to the point of this lesson. the predictor line group, we have 3 consecutive blue real bodies, but the predictor box says that it expects tomorrow's Masuda Ashi real body to be pink, which would signify that this was a good opportunity to buy on a dip, assuming that the medium term line kept on going this way and that our uptrend continued. As you can see here, we've got the medium term line, which is pink all the way up here, representing a strong uptrend, and the short term line has been riding above the medium term line, and we have had a number of buying on dip opportunities. Now this time the peak here is lower than the previous peak, so as we've looked at in previous lessons, this could be indicative of a near-term top, and we would want to be very cautious as to whether this line went down through the medium-term line in a dead cross, as we explained briefly before. One of the easiest ways that we can determine where we expect the Masuda Ashi real bodies to go in the next few days is to use the 4D or fourth dimension window into the future, which is one of the key features of the Masuda Ashi chart system. And what that involves is clicking this button, this right pointing triangle. This will open up the window into the future in this area, and on the daily chart we will be able to see 7 days of predicted Masuda Ashi real body color forecasts and direction. Here you go. You can see from here that the system predicts that tomorrow's Masuda Ashi real body will be pink, which is why the predictor box here was showing as pink before, and that it should continue pink for maybe the next couple of days. The medium term line will probably remain pink, as will the long term line. Now this is not an absolute forecast, it is just an indication of where the trend is likely to go in terms of the short term, medium term and long term lines. It does not forecast specific share prices whatsoever. It is only giving a gauge of where the Masuda Ashi real body is going to go in the next day and following days. The most important day is tomorrow, which is where the white line is right now, and we don't have any prediction of shadows either. This is just real body colors and direction, and possibly sometimes the length of the real body prediction is also possible in terms of the expected energy or share price energy. But here it looks like very short real bodies on all 3 lines, short term, medium term and long term, so share price energy is basically weak around this in the next few days. That's the expectation.